Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we are going to be talking about the hard rock album Let There Be Rock by AC/DC, the Thunder from Down Under, one of Australia's greatest rock and roll bands. This was the third studio album released internationally by AC/DC. It was the fourth album if you were lucky enough to be in Australia. Released on March 21st, 1977, July 25th, 1977, elsewhere in the world. It was a big hit in Australia, and this was just sort of building more on the success of AC/DC. They had kind of blown up pretty big in Australia by this point. And in the UK, they had started to gain a little bit of headway and across Europe because they were doing a lot of touring and a very explosive live act. But Atlantic Records here in the States, for some reason, were not just. They felt like the production was a little less than stellar. So they hadn't quite broken in America. So the third album, Dirty Deeds Done Cheap, was rejected by Atlantic. And so they came back to the studios in Sydney, Australia, Albert Studios, and they decided, you know what, we're going to go all out and make a statement. Angus Young later said that he and his brother Malcolm, they wanted a lot of guitars, they wanted to make a big guitar album. The earlier stuff maybe had a little hint of glam. And they started to really build on that sort of heavy rock sound. And I think this is the album where they really they brought it all together. Got in the studio with George Young and Harry Vanda, the production team, who had been with the group before. Of course, George Young, my Easy Beats fans out there, they know George. And for about 2 weeks, holed up in the studio and really was... they were determined just to make a great album and make an arena rock album. So they set out to do it. And it shows on this record. Now, to me, they really were going for the strength and the energy of the live show. So it has a very live sound to it. But to me, there's a famous story about one of the amps that was smoking during Whole Lotta Rosie, which is a popular live song for the band. You can hear that, and if you crank it up, and this is an album that begs to be played really, really loud. You can almost smell the smoke. It's a great feeling, and I mean he just was. The amp started to fuse out, and it was just starting it's a great sound, and the performance is so raw and so in your face. There's the song, the title track, "Let There Be Rock," just a big, heavy sort of driving song. It was crazy, and you can hear that sort of raw element throughout the album. Heavy riffs, "Bad Boy Boogie," very famous, of course. "Whole Lotta Rosie," "Problem Child" was a big song with the great just sort of AC/DC rock riff, and "Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be," classic AC/DC sound. I think this is where the band really started to come into their own and creating that signature sound. Of course, lead singer was still Bon Scott at this point. This is pre-Brian Johnson AC/DC, so it's got fans of the early version of the band. But it's just it's a very raw, in-your-face rock and roll album, and it's not ashamed to just lay it out there. Smoking leads from Angus, deep rhythm grooves from Malcolm and the rhythm here. Just a fantastic hard rock album, top to bottom. And like I said, turn it way up. What do you think? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It is Tommy Burton75. I usually show what I'm spending on those feeds. And in the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.